First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai. That's all praises to the Most High God in the name of His only begotten Son, who the world literally called Jesus Christ. It's the brother Aliyah from the MC Yahweh, uh, coming with a quick lesson, you know, that Christians, I would say, misrepresent us on, right? They say we teach a skin doctrine, skin-based doctrine, right? So like if you're not black, you can't make it to heaven. That's what Christians say, right? But you know, I don't know no camp that teaches that, right? That's just a lie, really. You know, no camp teaches anything about skin color, right? So I'm gonna start off with the book of Sirach, chapter 3 and verse 24. Says, "For many are deceived by their own vain opinion, and an evil suspicion has overthrown their judgment." Right? So a lot of these Christians have an evil suspicion, right? What's that evil suspicion? Is that we teach salvation by skin color, right? Don't nobody teach that, man. Right? It's not about skin color. You know, it's about uh who you descend from. Let's go to Numbers 1 and 18 real quick. You know, it's a actually let me bring out one more precept in the book of Sirach. Sirach 11 and 7. See, a lot of people they don't examine the entire matter. When we out there teaching, they be like, so salvation is only for people with black skin. You know, that's what they say. It's Sirach 11 and 7. Blame not before thou hast examined the truth. Understand first and then rebuke. So you gotta understand what we're saying. Uh, when we say that salvation is for the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, meaning if your father goes back to one of those ethnicities, salvation is for you, right? We're not saying that the Israelite can't, you know, his father could be a so-called black or Hispanic or Native American man, but his mom could be white, but he can look like a so-called white man. Are we saying salvation is not for him? No. So it's nothing, it don't have nothing to do with skin color. All right, so this Numbers 1 and 18. And they assemble all the congregation together on the first day of the second month, and they declared their pedigrees, right? After their families, meaning, you know, their lineage, by the house of their fathers, right? So whatever your father is, that's what you are. I know y'all may have heard that precept a lot, right? So it has nothing to do with you having a white mom and a black dad. And let's say you had a white dad and a black mom. You could look black, but you're not an Israelite, you know? So, hey, that's because they don't have nothing to do with skin color. Like Bob Marley, for example, not an Israelite, right? Even though he like my color, you know? But he not an Israelite, right? That's because it has nothing to do with skin color. You know, let's go to Jeremiah 12, right? My heritage is unto me as a speckled bird, right? So this Jeremiah 12 and 9, it says, my heritage, right? Meaning his lineage is unto me. Let me start over. My heritage is unto me as a speckled bird. The birds round about are against her. That's the point. My heritage is unto me as a speckled bird. So you don't come out looking like the rest of the flock, right? You a speckled bird. Your heritage, meaning how you look. You don't look like the rest of your people. Because your dad may be a so-called black man, but he got with a Moabite. You know, now you look like a so-called Chinese man, right? So your heritage is unto you as a speckled bird. That's Jeremiah 12 and 9, right? Perfect example of that is the brother from Fast and Furious, Salaki. I believe he's an Israelite, but he looked like a Moabite. because his dad is a so-called black man, right? So like in Fast and Furious cast, what's his name? If I can find it. I don't know if it's him. It's somebody on Fast and Furious, but nevertheless, uh, let's get another precept because in the Hosea it says that Ephraim has mixed itself with the people. Ephraim is an unturned cake or cake not turned. Right. Let's go to Hosea 7 and 8. Right. And what is it? How does a cake gonna look? You don't turn it. It's gonna look brown on one side and very light on the other. Right. So this Hosea 7 and 8 says Ephraim, he has mixed himself among the people. Right. So if the Northern Kingdom was mixing itself among the people, right? Let's say they was getting with any other nation, every other nation, right? They not all gonna look the same. Not all the Israelites gonna look the same, you know. It says Ephraim is a cake not turned, right? So we all know how a cake not turned looks. You got brown on one side, damn near white on the other side, right? So it's not about skin color at all, right? Now you got the Israelite foreigners. It says in the book of Acts, it was Jews, devout men out of every nation under heaven. So there was out of every nation under heaven. That means you had some Jews in Russia, you had some Jews in China, some Jews in India, right? And it said they were speaking that language. So more than likely, they look like the heathen, but they actually Israelites. You know, so it has nothing to do with skin color. You know, and another thing is the Hamites, they about the same color as us. Are are they able to get saved? No. Are the Elamites able to get saved? Most of them probably darker than me. You know, this Acts 2 and 5. And there were dwelling at Jerusalem Jews, devout men out of every nation under heaven. It said out of every nation under heaven. So you got Israelites everywhere. They're in every nation. More than likely, they're gonna look like those nations where they're at, right? It says now when this was noised abroad, the multitude came together and were confounded because that every man heard them speak in his own language. So these Israelites were speaking the languages where they was at, right, where they was born, right? It says, verse 7, and they were amazed and marveled, saying one to another, behold, are not all these which speak Galileans? And how hear we every man in our own tongue wherein we were born, right? You see that? So you may have Israelite in India, you know, an Israelite in China. They speak in Chinese, right? And they may look Chinese, but they're Israelite though. You know, so we don't teach a skin doctrine. That's why, you know, these Christians pay attention. I ain't gonna, bro. It could look like a straight up Edomite. They walk us most of the time. I could tell by the spirit, but you know, sometimes you want to play it safe. If a person walk up to me, they look like an Edomite, I still ask them, "Hey, what's your father's ethnicity?" Because you never know. We was at camp last week, and and I knew there was Israelites too. It was a Northern Kingdom brother, two Northern Kingdom brothers too. The first one walked past. He didn't really speak English like that. He looked like he could pass for uh, an Edomite. I ain't gonna lie. Like, then I asked him, I was like, "You Hispanic?" He was like, "Yeah." Right. So you never want to just see somebody that's walking past unless, hey, most of the time, to be honest, you can tell by the spirit, you know, like whether this person is an Edomite, you know. But sometimes it's like you kind of know when it's a J, right? And then another brother walked past. He looked very light too. Like most would probably think he was a so-called white man. I asked him what's his ethnicity. I said, you Hispanic? He said, yeah. Right? I asked him what's his father Hispanic? He said, yeah. So, it's not about skin color, right? It's about who you descend from. That's what it's about, right? And this wasn't gonna be too long. I just wanted to make a quick video on that, you know, right? Lord willing, this was edifying. Right, let's get one more. And not this for the Negro only out there. Not all Israelites gonna have woolly hair either, right? This Songs of Solomon, chapter 4, verse 1. Behold, thou art fair, my love, my love. Behold, thou art fair. Thou hast dove's eyes within thy locks. Thy hair is as a flock of goats that appear from Mount Gilead, right? So you had this Issacharite. Their hair is being compared to a flock of goats. That's not like a sheep, like how the Negro has. A goat hair is like how Issachar hair is today. That's how it's being compared to back then, right? So not all Israelites gonna look the same, all right? A lot of people got to get that out of their head. We don't teach a skin-based doctrine. What's somebody else? Logic. Logic look like a so-called white man. I don't know. Y'all know who Logic is, but his father, so-called black man. Blake Griffin. Blake Griffin, his son look white as hell, like him and Drake. But guess what? They Israelites though, right? Blake Griffin father is a Haitian. So Blake Griffin would be an Israelite and his son would be an Israelite, even though they very light, you know? It's about who you descend from once again, right? But Lord willing, this was edifying, giving all praise and glory and honor to Yahweh. By Hashem, Hamashiach, Wamala, Yahweh Shai. Say Shalom, upon Yahshua.